get to the border. There are suggestions, but we don't know what provision there'll be for them when they do have that difficult journey. Suggestions that the UK and France are sort of proposing this safe zone in Kabul, but it does helping and how things perhaps weren't done that should have been done. There's accusations about Dominic Raab, phone calls not being made when they should have been made. There's apparently thousands of unread emails that went into various Foreign Office inboxes that, you know, haven't been read. We don't know how many other people were emailing, desperately asking for help. Further missile strike, they carried out another one, didn't they, as well? So they are taking action against those people, against ISIS-K, who they say are responsible for the suicide attack that happened and a further potential suicide attack. How much damage do you think, Nana, has been done to our regulation about how he's been handling it? You know, he looked emotional and sort of had his head down, didn't he? What do you think this is going to mean for relations moving?
Yeah, well, it was Trump's plan
thing to try to bring out the staff. They'd obviously been working for many years to help him as a Briton. This is a great one to do on a Friday night, kind of kick-starting people's weekends.
Yeah.
I've got to ask you how Tom is, because, of course, you know, he just mentioned the other day, didn't he, that it was a year since he had the seizure that then led to his brain tumour being diagnosed. It, you know, kind of rocked his world, and I imagine came as a huge shock to all of you as well.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of following his journey as well, and I think the thing that strikes me is his massive positivity throughout everything, because a lot of people would have just been like, oh, you know, my world's falling apart.
That's just
the importance of raising this once again. It's obviously, you know, events that were seared into people's minds, but again, important, I think, to remind people of the circumstances. And for you, it was sort of made even more personal, because I know your son is the same.
Good morning. It's just gone 6:30. Welcome to the programme. Lovely to see you, Charlotte.
Oh, welcome back. It's great to have you back, Sean. Happy Bank Holiday Monday.
So I've had 2 weeks off, so yeah, it is coming back.
How was it feeling when the alarm went off this morning?
Bit of a staycation. It was fairly tricky. First time in 20 years British troops will not be on Afghanistan soil. We believe the last military flight with soldiers arrived back at Brize Norton at 9:30 last night. So it's the end of an era.
It's officially over, but there are still big questions about the nature of that evacuation operation, just how many people have been left behind, because there are suspicions that it could go into the thousands, which is the, you know, the devastating thing for those people who weren't able to make it onto the flights, and still questions about how they are going to get out now, what mechanisms will be in place for that, and also big questions about the terrorist threat that remains now. The Times is one of the newspapers saying terror threat worst in years, so we'll be looking exactly what's to come. There are some stories of hope, though, of course, you know, a lot of people were brought out on those flights, and there was a baby born on board a flight that came over to the United Kingdom on the way to Birmingham. It was a little girl called Hava, which means Eve. It was a lady called Soman Nouri who went into labour on the flight to Birmingham. Luckily, there were lots of people there to be able to help out. So some good news.
Yeah, so lots of chaotic and difficult stories, but occasionally you just get a glimmer of hope of something like that just, I mean, it's emotional, isn't it, when you hear a story like that? It is pretty wonderful. Look, we're going to sift through all these stories with the Mirror's Kevin Maguire.
That was the biggest
But the animals got
rather
on.
than the availability of good lanes.
But people are...
That's not his fault, is it?
But
Cleverly later on in the programme. But listen, we are celebrating today as well at the same time because of the success of Paralympics GB over the weekend. We had 14 golds over the weekend. We've had another gold medal in the early hours of this morning, thanks to Andrew Small. That was in the men's 100 metres T33. So it's, you know, it's looking good. Let's speak to you and Thomas to get his...
I got a new puppy yesterday, and she is called Meg. She's a Cocker Spaniel. Anyone who's had a puppy or a dog, they are just the best
And was
things.
it hard to leave her this morning?
Oh, this
she
morning,
probably thought, what on earth are you doing getting up at this time?
She's been brilliant all night. I thought it was going to be like a newborn baby and she'd be crying all night. She was brilliant. I came down at 3 in the morning and she came up to me and just...
Like a proud father.
Oh, I am. It's like having a child again.
Lovely.
It's great.
Could you have a GMB dog?
Do they get really big, those dogs?
Thanks all very much. Stay with us, because still to come this morning, we're going to be joined by the Holby City star Hugh Quashie. That's after 8 o'clock this morning. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV.